Hi everyone, welcome again to Indian Story Read Along. Today's story is called Gold Aplenty. It's from the June 2000, 23 years ago, June 2000 issue of Chandamama. And for those of you who don't know, because probably a lot of you are kids, Chandamama was this monthly magazine that came out for like 40 years, and it had all kinds of cultural stories from different places in India. It had some sciencey facts and things like that, but it went out of publication because I guess it was no longer popular, unfortunately. And so I have a lot of old issues, luckily, that I saved up from when I was a kid, and this is one of them, Gold Aplenty. So here we go. In the city of Malyapur lived Ramdas, an honest man. He was happily married and had 2 sons. When, to his great dismay, his wife died of a sudden illness, Ramdas was faced with a problem. Who would look after the little boys? He decided to leave them with their maternal uncle, his wife's brother, who was living in a faraway village. Before he set out with the boys, Ramdas took his wife's precious ornaments and all his money to his rich neighbor, Shaitan Singh. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret here. If anyone is named Shaitan in any story you read, he's the bad guy, okay? You know how it sounds actually like the English word Satan for the devil, okay? And guess where all of that came from? It came from Eastern languages. Shaitan Singh, brother, this is all I have for my son's use in the future. Please keep it safe, he said to his neighbor. Don't worry. I'm going to make him sound like the devil. Don't worry, Shaitan Singh assured him. Your property will be as safe with me as the sun in the sky. But Shaitan Singh was as greedy as he was rich. When Ramdas returned to Malyapur after a few months and asked for the ornaments and the money, Shaitan Singh handed over to him a box of fake ornaments and counterfeit coins. Ramdas soon found out how terribly cheated he had been. He went back to his sons, told them of Shaitan Singh's treachery, meaning his deceit, his deception, and soon died a heartbroken man. Years passed. The sons of Ramdas grew up as 2 bright young men. They took to trading in gold and soon grew rich, but they never forgot Shaitan Singh's wickedness. One day they set out for their native town, Malyapur. The elder brother had now grown long hair and a beard, donning the dress of a mendicant. That means of a sage or a fakir, maybe, a poor man, sort of also a holy man. He went over to a deserted temple next to the river that flowed by Malyapur. The younger brother dressed himself up as a prince. With a retinue of servants, that means an entourage, a whole posse full of people, he went to live in a rented house opposite Shaitan Singh's mansion. The prince, and you can see it in quotation marks, so like not really, the prince lived luxuriously and gave alms generously. Before long, he attracted Shaitan Singh's attention. This young man is spending money as sportively as a farmer scatters seeds on his field. He hands a beggar a rupee when a single paisa would have been enough. Every evening, musicians sing before him for handsome rewards. What a pity money that ought to be locked up in iron chests is being thrown away at beggars and singers, thought Shaitan Singh. He called on the prince and began to flatter him. The prince showed much respect for him. They became friends. Thief, thief, the prince shouted one night. The neighbors came running to his house. The young man told them that some burglars had entered his bedroom. They were about to take away his caskets, full of gold. When he woke up and raised the cry, the burglars escaped. Shaitan Singh did not allow this opportunity to slip by. It's a trap, you guys, it's a trap. He waited until all the other neighbors had left and then said, Prince, oh wait, he's evil. Prince, it is not wise for you to live in this unsafe house. I'm your friend, and my house is like a castle. Why don't you come and live with me as my honored guest? Your wealth will be safe in my house. So he's trying to pull the same stunt he did on the son as he did on the father, but he doesn't know these guys are the sons of Ramdas. The prince thanked him and accepted the proposal. A dozen gold caskets, supposedly laden with gold, heavy, full with gold, were carried to Shaitan Singh's house. The prince was shown into a big room. He heaved a sigh of relief to see his valuable caskets lined up near his bed. Shaitan Singh's joy was tremendous at the sight of his guests' wealth. It only heightened his eagerness to own it. In his mind, he spun one plan after another to achieve his end. He hardly slept a wink. One day, the prince's servant said that their master had fallen ill and he was not eating any food. At least this was the impression his host was given. The illness seemed to linger on. One morning, the prince called Shaitan Singh to his bedside and mumbled out, "My days are numbered. In my dream, I was asked to make a gift of all my wealth to a certain mendicant." Do we remember that word? That's his older brother in disguise, the mendicant. "He lives in a deserted temple on the riverbank. My noble host, will you kindly go to him and beg him to come here?" So there's the picture of the older brother and posing as a sage. And he has long hair and everything. He is older. No way Shaitan Singh's going to recognize him. Shaitan Singh had already heard much about the mendicant, that he stood on one leg for a long time in the morning and did the same thing in the evening. Who wouldn't be impressed by such feats? Besides, he was indifferent to worldly things. He distributed to the poor all the offerings he received from his admirers. Shaitan Singh hurried to the mendicant with a great show of humility. That means trying to seem humble and respectful. He requested the holy man to come and meet the dying prince. I don't mind fulfilling the last wish of a dying man, but the problem is I hardly know the value of gold. Besides, can this lonely temple be a suitable place for storing gold? "Don't you worry, Shaitan." Oh, wait, he's evil. "Don't you worry," Shaitan Singh hastened to say. "I rather know very well the value of gold. I will undertake to sell them on your behalf, should the need arise. So far as their safety is concerned, I'm ready to keep them in my house, and I should feel honored if you too are pleased to come and stay with me." I feel like he only invites people over to steal their stuff. I guess that's his plan. It worked one time, it should work every time. Shaitan Singh made the request feigning love and devotion. What could the compassionate mendicant do but agree to the proposal? He duly arrived at Shaitan Singh's house. After showing some reluctance, he accepted the wealth from the dying prince and blessed him. But lo and behold, such was the power of the mendicant's blessing that instead of wasting away, the prince recovered miraculously. Remember, guys, he wasn't really sick, right? They're both brothers, and they're pulling this entire plan undercover to get revenge for their dad. Along with the mendicant, he showed a fondness for eating all the best things in the world, at Shaitan Singh's expense, of course. Days passed. The prince at last prepared to return to his kingdom. He requested the mendicant to accompany him. The mendicant was willing to oblige, but how could he go away before disposing of all of his gold? Shaitan Singh seemed too ready to come to his help. "Since you're in a hurry, I can spare you the botheration of going to the bazaar and bargaining with the merchants. I can buy it up." The noble soul that you are, I don't mind paying you a price higher than what you can get in the market. "How kind of you," said the mendicant. Shaitan Singh's joy knew no bounds. He paid to the mendicant 1/10 the price of the gold in the caskets. Even then, he had to pay such a large sum of money that he was left without a single coin. An hour after the prince and the mendicant had taken leave of him, Shaitan Singh carried a piece of his newly acquired gold to a goldsmith. "You call this gold? Gold! Next you will call a fly an eagle." The goldsmith guffawed. I love that word. It's laughed, but it's like you're going, that's kind of like that. Shaitan Singh soon learned to his great shock that what he had purchased for a large sum of money was hardly worth a pouchful of coins. They conned him just like he had conned their dad. He ran to the king and wailed before him, narrating how he had been duped. The king at once ordered his officer to look for the two strangers. Both were still in the city. They came to the king's court most willingly. The trial began. It's not how it is nowadays, you guys. It's like trials, they take months and months and months to schedule. You got to do all of this information, exchange evidence. Not like that. King's like, look, I want to hear both sides. And everyone just shows up and they talk about it. The trial began. I did not sell my gold to anybody. I made a gift of it to the mendicant and was cured by his blessing. Since then, the gold has been his. I've nothing to do with it, declared the prince. The king found his statement cogent enough. Like cogent makes sense, right? I had warned Shaitan Singh that to me gold was no different from stone. I had no knowledge of its value. It is Shaitan Singh who proposed to buy them. It is he who fixed the price. I distributed the money he gave me among the poor, said the mendicant. And this is true because he had been living in that temple for months and months, and everybody knew that anything he got, he always gave away to the poor. So they can't say that he's wrong about that. The king found his statement cogent enough too. Shaitan Singh, I'm sorry for you, but this is a strange situation. The prince cannot be held responsible for what he had already given away. The mendicant cannot be held responsible either. It is you who volunteered to buy his metal. You fixed the price. You should have made sure that what you were buying was gold, said the king. Mic drop. The two strangers thanked the king and returned home. You know what I love? That's the end. I love the thing I love the most about this story is that they had an argument ready for what was going to happen when they got caught. So here, like I'm reading through this story. I didn't read through this story before I was reading it to you guys. So I was thinking that what was going to happen is that an hour after they left the city, they were going to change their clothes, they were going to disappear. But no, they came back and they answered to the law at the time, which was the king, and nothing could be done about it. So this guy was completely out of luck and the entire matter was closed. So I love this story. I love it when people kind of get, not revenge, but they kind of get what they deserve, like what goes around comes around, right? I love these stories. And Chandamama is full of these stories. So if you want to come back and read more stories with me, then please do so. Think about subscribing here. So we will see you next time again on Indian Story Read Along.